What was working in that third quarter?
I just think we just didn't turn the ball over. I think to the second media, we only turned the ball over one time.
What have you learned about y'all team-wise this preseason?
We're really good when we want to be.
What went wrong in the first half?
Turnovers. Yeah.
What do you think caused those? Spacing or?
Just spacing, getting to our spots, being organized. I think we did a poor job of giving JK space when he had it in the post, whether it was off of ISO or a set play. So cleaned that up in the third quarter, and we got some really good looks. That's why we went on a run.
You and Austin Reeves had a fun kind of back and forth in this game. You guys have matched up before. Just what is that matchup like?
Very fun. Represented by the same shoe company, so we know each other from that. Just high-level competition every time we get to go and play each other.
Steve's talked most of the camp how well you've been playing. How do you feel like the last 3 weeks?
I think they've been pretty well. Just trying to find my lane and do the right things on and off the floor. And what I've been doing has been working, so continue.
You cranked up the scoring today. Do you know that going into the game, considering who's out?
Just having an understanding who's out, who I got on the floor with me, what I got to do as a point guard to make sure everybody gets their touches, but also play within myself. And so I think I did a good job of, evenly distributing the load throughout the guys I was out there with.
To follow on that, what's your approach when you're at the point with your floor game?
Just be aggressive, push the pace, soft makes, soft misses, see if we can get a couple easy buckets and not have to, run a set every play. How can I, steal 4 to 6 points as a point guard out there, especially if I'm handling without Steph out there? How do we steal points? And I think we got a couple of those in the third quarter, which, like I said, led to the run.
I would say during the preseason, one of your emphases, both you and Steve talked about, was emotional maturity, not engaging with the refs quite as much. How do you feel like you've handled that now through 3 preseason games?
I don't know. I think I've been better, but it's for the rest of the people to judge that.
What did they tell you on the travel?
On the travel, she said she was going to look at it again. I thought, just normally when you dribble opposite hand, opposite foot. So if you dribble with your right, your left foot's going to hit the ground. And so I thought I dribbled my right foot, which is my 0 step, and then I took a left and a right and shot the hook. She said she could have been wrong, but she'll look at it. But just in the play and through the moment, she thought it was 3 steps instead of 2.
Starting, coming off the bench, does that change your approach at all?
Nah, just want to be in the game when it matters most at the end of the games. It really doesn't matter to me. I know, fortunately, I'm going to get my minutes, whatever that looks like. So whatever I'm given, just take advantage of that. Starting, coming off the bench, doesn't matter. Just whatever I can do to help the team win is what obviously we're all here to do.
Quinn, what do you think turned things in the second half for you guys?
I thought Brandon really stepped up for us in the second half, both offensively and defensively. I thought we stopped turning the ball over as much, especially in the first half. We struggled with that. I thought we got spaced pretty well in that third quarter, and with BP playing like that, that definitely ignited the comeback.
What caused those turnovers in your mind in the first half? Was it just spacing, or was there something else to it?
Yeah, bad spacing probably. When we get the guys that need to get the ball, then we need to figure out to make life easier for them, right? Space around them, and I think as a team we just didn't do a good job of that in the first half, clogging up the paint. So that's something, we'll look at the film and we'll get better at that.
Steve mentioned the way Brandon performed tonight. That's a lot of how he's been playing in camp. Just what have you seen behind the scenes with Brandon's play at training camp?
No, he's been great. I mean, he plays with a lot of confidence, and he works really hard. So I feel like this game, everything kind of clicked for him, and all his hard work from training camp kind of showed up. Thank you, guys.
Well, what do you think got everything rolling in the second half there?
I think we did a better job of defending without fouling and not turning the ball over. I feel like once we were able to get into ourselves clean, it made it a lot easier for ourselves.
Well, what did you see from Brandon Podziemski today? What, just overall?
Yeah, I feel like he's very poised. He picked his spots, took the shots they gave him, and he did a good job of controlling the game. He played very well and got us in ourselves, so it was really good with not having Steph out there.
And what was your reaction to that JK dunk?
It kind of caught me off guard, but I know he got that in his bag, so I'm glad to see him do that. Oh, good. Thank God.
Or like how we want to play. We took care of the ball. We spaced the floor. We moved it. Still had a problem fouling. They shot 35 free throws, so we're not where we need to be, and we definitely have to play more than 15 good minutes in a 48-minute game.
Steve, what did you make of Pod's game tonight?
Pods.
Yep.
Yeah, he was great. He's been really aggressive throughout camp. I know he didn't score particularly well the first 2 games, but this is more like what he's looked like in practice scrimmages. Super aggressive, very confident with his shot, moving the ball. 8 assists tonight. He just has a good feel and a good flow, good pace to his game, and he was definitely aggressive and playing at a high level. I think he knew without Steph and Jimmy, he needed to be more aggressive.
Considering Moses is missing preseason and the way you continue to odds is playing, I mean, is he pretty penciled in at that starting 2 guard to start the year? Would you say?
I can't say that yet. We've got to see where we are. I mean, Brandon's going to play a ton. He's a hugely important player for us, but the starting lineup, frankly, is a little tricky for us. Just given the pieces, Al's age. If Al were a little younger, he'd be in the starting lineup for sure. But if he's going to play limited minutes, it's tougher to start him and finish the game. If he's not playing as many minutes as he would have a few years ago. So we still have a lot to think about, but Brandon is going to be a huge part of it, one way or the other.
Do you expect Draymond to play at all? He played 22 minutes tonight. Do you expect him to play in Portland, or is he going to get the night off?
He will have the night off in Portland, and then he'll play against the Clippers on Friday.
Hey, Steve, what's J.K. shown you in camp so far, and how do you see him building off of this season?
He's had a good camp. I've been very pleased with just the approach, the effort. I thought tonight he ran the floor hard. He had a couple plays in the third quarter where he sprinted and took a defender with him, and we got shots behind the play, and that's a hugely important trait that we need from everybody, but especially from him, given his speed, because those often lead to layups for him or putbacks. So when he sprints like that and the ball moves, then he can really take advantage of his athleticism. So JK's having a good camp. Yeah, Steph and Jimmy are scheduled to play in Portland, yeah. And Al, too.
Quick follow on JK. Just what did you make? It seemed like he was featured, especially early on in that first 6 minutes of the first quarter. Just what did you think of that stretch, his floor game?
Well, we had too many turnovers. He had a couple of them. We'll have to look at the tape, but it felt like our spacing wasn't great on some of those turnovers. But 14 as a team in the first half, you can't recover from that. So we've got to clean that up. But that was the whole team. But we knew without Jimmy and Steph that we were going to run a lot of offense through JK and Brandon, and those guys did a good job.
What do you make of? I think he had 6 assists. He had 6 assists again tonight. What do you make of him looking to pass? I guess it seems like every time he gets the ball, he is looking to kick it out or make the extra pass.
Yeah, I think he's had a really good passing camp. He's done that in scrimmages. He's seeing the floor well. He's making some really nice reads, and that's a part of his game that he's improved for sure.
Pryor continues to at least get those shots up and look solid. What have you seen his progression look like in the last couple weeks here as camp gets set to close?
Well, the progression has come with shot making. We knew he was a good shooter, but first week of camp and first exhibition game or two, he didn't shoot it well. Just the first one, I guess. We've only had 3. So he's a gamer, LJ. He's tough. He's confident. And I think he's showing he's got a real chance to play in this league.
Kuminga's comments and Steve Kerr's response hint at ongoing tension. Will he keep fighting for minutes? The standoff between Jonathan Kuminga and the Golden State Warriors quietly lingered throughout the entire offseason. Now, even after the dust has settled, signs of tension remain, and his fight for consistent minutes may be far from over. Kuminga, the former number 7 overall pick, reportedly turned down multiple offers from the Warriors before finally agreeing to a 2-year, $48.5 million contract just ahead of the 2025-26 NBA season. The deal, which includes a team option, a term his camp strongly opposed, raised eyebrows across the league. The fact that the Warriors got that clause in the contract suggests the team held the leverage. And while both sides eventually reached an agreement, it's hard to ignore the friction that simmered behind the scenes, especially when listening to head coach Steve Kerr's carefully chosen words. Steve Kerr's honest take on the Kuminga saga. Kerr, whose influence carries significant weight in Golden State, was at the center of the months-long dispute. Some insiders even criticized his role, suggesting that Kuminga's lack of a clearly defined role under Kerr may have contributed to the standoff in the first place. But when asked directly about how he viewed the contract saga now that it's over, Kerr struck a diplomatic tone. "This is the business we're in. I've never held it against any player for trying to secure the best deal they can," Kerr told The Athletic's Anthony Slater. "As a coach, and as someone who played in this league, part of my job is to help players grow into the best version of themselves. Put them in a position to succeed. Help them sign good contracts. These careers don't last forever." While his words were measured, Kerr's neutral stance is telling, especially considering how much the stalled negotiations limited the Warriors' flexibility this offseason. The team was unable to make other key moves while the Kuminga situation remained unresolved. Kerr added, "We've dealt with much bigger contracts than this. I don't think it's a big deal. These things happen in sports. Contract disagreements are part of the landscape." Still, it's hard to ignore the subtext. This wasn't just a negotiation. It was a statement. And now that it's done, the real question is, where does Kuminga go from here? Kuminga's future, still uncertain? Despite signing the extension, there are still whispers that Kuminga, now 22, may not see his long-term future in Golden State. The inclusion of a team option speaks volumes. The Warriors maintain control over his fate, while he's left needing to prove himself all over again. For Kuminga to shift the narrative, 2 things need to happen. He must solidify his place in the rotation. Despite flashes of brilliance and elite athleticism, Kuminga has yet to earn consistent, reliable minutes under Kerr. Whether that's due to defensive lapses, inconsistency, or lack of trust from the coaching staff, it remains a barrier. He has to produce, and produce now. With veterans like Stephen Curry and Draymond Green still at the core, the Warriors aren't in rebuilding mode. Every minute matters, and Kuminga needs to show that he can impact winning, not just with highlight plays, but with smart, disciplined basketball. The upside is clear. Kuminga has shown he can guard multiple positions, finish in traffic, and create mismatches. But until he puts it all together, and earns the full confidence of his coach, he'll remain in a precarious position. More than just business. Ultimately, this situation reflects something deeper than contract logistics. It's about identity and direction, both for Kuminga and for a Warriors team that's trying to walk the line between contending now and preparing for the future. Kuminga's talent isn't in question, but his fit in Kerr's system, and the organization's long-term plans, still are. The contract may be signed. The summer may be behind them. But the real story? It's still unfolding, and Kuminga's next steps will determine whether this chapter ends with a breakout or a breakup. Trust still in question? Behind the scenes, league sources suggest that while the Warriors are publicly downplaying the contract dispute, trust between Kuminga and the organization hasn't fully recovered. The tension wasn't just about money, it was about role, usage, and long-term vision. Kuminga's camp reportedly grew frustrated over the lack of a clear developmental plan, particularly during the 2024-25 season, when he was in and out of the rotation despite strong performances in stretches. The inconsistency in his minutes, combined with minimal opportunities in late-game situations, became a point of contention, especially as younger players on other teams were given the freedom to grow through mistakes. The tension wasn't one-sided either. Within the Warriors coaching staff, there were concerns about Kuminga's defensive discipline, off-ball focus, and ability to stay engaged when he wasn't featured offensively. While his physical tools are undeniable, there's a belief that he hasn't always embraced the nuances of team basketball that Golden State's system demands. These internal questions fed directly into the negotiation standoff, and likely explain why the team insisted on keeping the team option in the contract. The message was clear: we'll commit to you if you fully commit to the system. A critical year ahead. With the 2025-26 season underway, Kuminga is now entering the most pivotal stretch of his young career. If he thrives, both statistically and within the Warriors structure, he could shift the entire narrative, cement his place in the rotation, and potentially become a long-term piece alongside the next generation of Warriors talent. But if the inconsistencies continue, or if his role diminishes again, the contract's team option gives Golden State a way out. And in that case, Kuminga could find himself back on the trade market, possibly packaged in a deal to retool around Curry in what could be the final years of his prime. Internally, some around the league believe that the Warriors' front office may already be preparing for that possibility. While the team has made no public statements suggesting a trade is imminent, rival executives are watching closely. If Kuminga's minutes shrink again or if tensions resurface, expect trade speculation to accelerate, especially if Golden State hovers around the middle of the Western Conference standings. The bigger picture for Golden State. Kuminga's situation also reflects a broader dilemma facing the Warriors: the tension between past, present, and future. With Stephen Curry still playing at an elite level, the front office is under pressure to compete now. But with aging stars and a tightening salary cap, the team must also develop young talent that can take the torch. So far, balancing those two goals has been far from smooth. James Wiseman is already gone. Moses Moody has yet to carve out a consistent role. Kuminga, once considered the highest upside prospect of the group, is now at a crossroads. And how his season unfolds will say a lot about whether the Warriors can truly bridge eras, or whether they'll be forced to pick a direction sooner than expected. For Kuminga, this is more than a contract year. It's a test of maturity, resilience, and fit. For the Warriors, it's a reflection of deeper strategic tension, one they can no longer ignore. And while the headlines may have quieted for now, the questions remain. Can Jonathan Kuminga evolve fast enough to become a cornerstone? Or has the clock already started ticking on his time in Golden State? The answers are coming, on the court, not on paper.